Hey guys, so today I'm going to be teaching you 5 important things you should know and what you should do. So you got to pay attention. So why and how do you preview a text? Why you should do this is because when you can preview a text, then you know basically what the text is about. Say you read the introduction, and in the introduction it already tells you what the text is about, but when you read the actual text, the actual essay, then it goes more in depth of what it's talking about. But when you read the introduction and you got your thesis, you got your thesis, and then you have your grabber, and you also have some information but not too much, so the reader can get interested into reading the essay. But if you pay attention into that introduction, then you can tell where the what's important, or kind of what the essay is about. And how do you do this is what you gotta do is first you gotta read the introduction or the text. You can read the introduction you can read it, and then you can go over it again, break it down, and then you can kind of figure out what the text is about in there. Also, to preview the entire text, you go into the text and you read it, but if you don't quite understand it, you gotta go back in and you have to read more into depth, like read in between the lines. That's why and how you preview a text. Alright, what is a rhetorical situation? A rhetorical situation is a circumstance of an event that consists of an issue, an audience, or a set of constraints. Now, there are 5 things to a rhetorical situation. There's a writer, a purpose, an audience, a message, and a context and culture. So your writer, you obviously have your writer, the person who's writing it. The purpose is, what the essay or the text is about. The audience is who you're directing it to. You're directing it to, environmentalists. Are you directing it to teenagers, kids, adults? Who you're directing it to. What's and then the message, what are they trying to tell you? So you got to read. You got to pay attention to the text, obviously. And then you have your context and your culture. Your context and your culture is basically, what's in it, what is it about, what's basically in it, what is in it. So you may be wondering what kinds of questions you should ask, for a text when you're close reading. And I got some questions for you. There are 4 main questions. And in those questions, there's other questions. So number 1, what is the writer or author's main point? And a question in that question is, what is the primary purpose of the text? That's number 1. Number 2, who is the intended audience? And there's a question in that question, okay? What is the tone and style of the text? Alright, number 3. Now there's 2 questions in this question. You gotta pay attention. How is the text organized? And the 2 questions in that question are, how and where does the author support the main point, and is the evidence sufficient? Alright? Now number 4, the last one. Pay attention. Alright, what is the larger historical and cultural text? And the question in that question is, has the writer fairly represented and responded to the other points of view? Alright, you get it? How do you respond to a text? There's 3 things you can do when you're going to respond to a text. Number 1 is you summarize, where you summarize what you've read in your own words. Number 2 is your own reaction. Think about and record your reaction. And then number 3, thinking about writing. Consider what you learned about writing. Alright, what is the CRAP test? Now let me tell you. Alright, C is currency, and that's the timelines of information. R, which is relevance, which is the importance of the information For your needs, A is authority, the source of the information. The other A is accuracy, the reliability, truthfulness, and correctness of the context. And P, which is purpose, the reason the information exists.